I had always thought of space as infinite silence, black nothingness stretching endlessly in every direction. But when the alien woman came into my life, I learned that silence has a voice, and eternity has its price. It began when I was posted as a deep space surveyor for the Interstellar Colonization Bureau. My assignment was routine, charting unclaimed systems along the Perseus Arm, cataloging resources, and sending back automated reports. The Bureau never sent pairs, only individuals. They said solitude sharpened focus, made you efficient. After 4 years alone with only a ship's AI for company, I disagreed. Solitude didn't sharpen you, it hollowed you out. On the 17th planet of my circuit, things changed. The world was catalogued as T-94, a lifeless, rocky husk circling a cold star. Nothing in the scans suggested civilization. The atmosphere was thin but breathable with aid. I landed anyway. Protocol demanded surface checks. As I stepped from my shuttle, the wind scraped dust across basalt cliffs. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. And then she appeared. At first, I thought it was a trick of exhaustion. A tall figure standing against the canyon's rim, cloaked in something that shimmered like liquid glass. Her skin was pale, almost luminous, and her eyes glowed faintly silver, like reflections of distant moons. She did not walk so much as glide across the rocky plain until she stood before me. "You came," she said. Her voice was strange. Not merely sound but vibration threading into my bones. My hand went instinctively to my sidearm. "Who are you? How did you?" She tilted her head, studying me like an artifact. "It has been longer than you can imagine. And yet, here you stand again." Her words made no sense. We had never met. Yet when her eyes locked on mine, something deep inside me stirred, something frighteningly familiar. The middle captivity of wonder. I woke inside a cavern carved from crystal, light pulsing faintly along its walls as though the stone itself breathed. My memory blurred. I recalled her touch on my arm, then nothing. She was waiting. "My name in your tongue would fracture meaning," she said. "But you may call me Selhura." I demanded answers. Why am I here? What are you? And why won't you let me leave? Her gaze softened, though her expression remained unreadable. "Because you are not meant to leave. Not this time." I spent days or weeks, time blurred, learning fragments of her world. Selhura was no ordinary being. She belonged to a civilization so ancient it predated most star clusters. Her people had long since transcended mortality, existing in bodies woven of living energy anchored to physical form. They were few now, scattered remnants drifting through forgotten worlds, custodians of secrets no empire remembered. But Selhura was unique even among them. She had chosen solitude on T-94, isolating herself for reasons she would not explain. I told her repeatedly I needed to return to my mission. Each time she refused. "The void will wait," she said. "But I cannot let you vanish again." Her words gnawed at me. Again. Always again. At first I considered her mad. Perhaps loneliness had warped her mind across the centuries. But then she showed me visions. By placing her hand against my temple, she unlocked memories, or perhaps planted them. I saw flashes of lifetimes that felt both alien and intimately mine. Marching as a soldier beneath crimson skies, Selhura at my side. Sailing starborn ships into nebulas, her laughter echoing in my ears. Dying, always dying, and her arms around me as the world collapsed. I awoke each time gasping, my body trembling. "Those aren't real," I insisted. "They can't be real." But Selhura only whispered, "They were real, each one. You return. And I remain." Breaking point. Weeks stretched into months. My reports to the Bureau ceased. Selhura's domain warped signals, or she simply willed them silent. My AI companion went offline. I was cut from everything I had known. And slowly, against all reason, I stopped fighting. Selhura was unlike any being I had met. She carried centuries in her gaze, yet a loneliness as raw as my own. She taught me languages older than Earth, showed me constellations rearranged across eons, and opened archives of her people's science so advanced it looked like sorcery. We spoke often of time. Mortals see life as a thread, she explained one night beneath a sky of fractured moons. Straight, short, unspooling. But time is not thread. It is ocean. And souls, her hand brushed mine, are currents that meet, part, and meet again. I didn't want to believe her. Yet deep inside a part of me already did. But then the Bureau came. A patrol ship, drawn by my missing status, dropped into orbit. Their signal pierced Selhura's barriers. My heart leapt. I could return, I could escape this strange captivity. I told her I had to go. For the first time, Selhura's composure cracked. Her hands trembled as she reached for me. If you leave now, you will forget again. You always forget. And I. Her voice broke, a sound like glass shattering. I will remain, waiting centuries more until fate drags you back to me. I hesitated. Every rational thought demanded I run to that patrol, call for rescue. But in her eyes, I saw an ocean of grief older than stars. I don't understand, I whispered. Why me? Why always me? At last she told me the truth. The revelation. Eons ago, when her people still flourished, Selhura had broken a law. She had bound her essence to a mortal's fragile life. My life in another age. It was forbidden, a tether between the infinite and the finite. When I died, as mortals must, the tether tore, but not completely. Each cycle, each rebirth drew me back across centuries. I never remembered, but she always did. Her punishment was eternity without release, an endless waiting for my return, knowing each reunion ended in loss. I refused to let go the first time, she said, tears of silver streaking her face. And so the universe refuses to let me go of you. The weight of her confession crushed me. I wanted to reject it, to scream that I was only human, that destiny was a myth. But in that cavern of living crystal, under her trembling hands, I felt the truth humming in my bones. I had been hers once, perhaps many times, and some part of me, buried but alive, still was. The ending, a choice across eternity. The Bureau demanded my extraction. Their captain's voice rang through my comms. Prepare for immediate evacuation. You've been missing for months. This mission is over. I looked at Selhura. For the first time since meeting her, she seemed fragile. Not the immortal being of endless knowledge, but a woman terrified of abandonment. You have a choice, she whispered. Leave, forget, live your thread. Or stay, and remember everything that was once yours, and mine. The shuttle engines roared overhead. I could almost taste the recycled air, the comfort of familiar human voices. Safety, unity. But I also felt her hand, cool and trembling against mine. I made my choice. When the Bureau landed, they found only a barren canyon. My shuttle sat abandoned. Of me there was no trace. 'Cause I stayed. Not as captive. Not as prisoner. But as someone who finally understood. Selhura taught me to unlock the currents within myself, and the memories flooded back in waves. Battles fought. Worlds crossed. Lives shared and lost. The agony of dying. The ecstasy of finding her again. I remembered everything.